Amid all of the silly season, there have been a couple of drivers that are looking to make a return to F1 after some time off. The most popular ones are Antonio Giovinazzi and Nico Hülkenberg, who have been related to F1 seats in Alpine and Haas. However, although their return is more than likable, and at least one of them will make a return this year, given the fact how the circumstances are developing on the grid, there is one driver that we hardly expected to be mentioned, let alone related to any kind of comeback whatsoever. His name is Daniil Kvyat, and his entrance into the sport might be something we need to pay more attention to. So, is there a chance that Kvyat will drive yet again in F1? And if so, which teams would be more than willing to accept the Russian driver? We'll explain all of that in today's video. Daniil Kvyat's prime time was in 2015 and a small part in 2016 when he was driving in the senior team in Red Bull. Prior to that, he was a member of Toro Rosso as he debuted in 2014 in the Red Bull affiliated team. 2015 was the season when he was promoted to Red Bull straight away, partnering Daniel Ricciardo and replacing Sebastian Vettel, who went on to sign with Ferrari. Did have a stellar performance in his first season with Red Bull as he finished P7 with 95 points, 3 more than his teammate Ricciardo, who already had a couple of years to adjust and adapt to the car. However, the Verstappen miracle happened and these drivers switched seats. Kvyat went back to Toro Rosso from the Barcelona GP, while Verstappen went on to debut at just 16 years of age in the senior team of Red Bull. The rest is history, and Kvyat stayed with Toro Rosso until 2021 as he took a year off in 2018. To this day, Kvyat remains the most successful Russian driver and now, amid all of these talks regarding drivers' seats and positions on the grid, his name has been mentioned yet again. Is this something we should expect? Probably yes. Kvyat is looking for an F1 comeback since 2020, and there have been multiple talks back then between him and AlphaTauri. However, he labeled all of his processes as a shame when it comes to his F1 return beyond 2021, as he added, "I can be extremely competitive, and I still feel like I have a lot to give. I am grateful, of course, for everything, for all these years. It was great stint these last 2 years with the team. That is fantastic. They're amazing, but it's a shame that I'm not even able to say if I'm there or not next year. It's a bit funny, I'm talking here with you, and they still kind of didn't give me the official news. That's about it," finished Kvyat. He then got on to be replaced with Yuki Tsunoda, the Honda Junior from Japan, as a part of the deal that Red Bull got with Honda regarding the engine supply. Kvyat decided to move along and race in different categories such as G-Drive and NASCAR. However, he's been recently briefed about a possible return in F1, and according to him, there is a chance that he'll make it onto the big stage. This time, the issue is much different, and it's something that we've already seen with Nikita Mazepin and his father. Both of them were sacked from Haas due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and given the fact that Kvyat is Russian and the fact that the Russian GP was banned from the calendar, it's very likely that Kvyat will face some difficulties when it comes to his return. Nevertheless, he doesn't think that this will be an issue and stays positive when it comes to this matter, adding, "I think you never say never." But at the moment, of course, the timing, let's say, is not ideal for that, perhaps. Hopefully one day we can talk about it again. Right now, I'm racing in NASCAR. I'm welcome there. Didn't have any issues, really. We plan to do some more races this year. I'm happy. I always wanted to try myself in NASCAR. As you know, I've been mentioning this in a way a little dream came true. Of course, to get really on top there, it might take time, but I'm patient, and careers in NASCAR can be really long if you build it right. I'm curious to see how far I could go there. And of course, F1, as always, has a special place in my heart. And who knows, hopefully one day we can talk about it again. I'm still young, as some people show you can come back after a little break and still do well, finished a 28-year-old Russian driver. If he is to come back in F1, there are a couple of things that he'd have to do first. For example, he'd have to race under a neutral flag and not show support for Russia in any way, as per decision made by the World Motorsport Council. Multiple reports have said that Kvyat could possibly race under an Italian license. However, it's not known whether teams in the F1 paddock would want to have anything with a Russian, and him giving up the Russian support should be enough to stop all of the controversies and the drama. At the end of the day, it's not Kvyat who started nor supported the war and isn't related to that in any way whatsoever. Kvyat's last F1 role was with Alpine, as he was the reserve driver in 2021. He also took part in 3 days of Pirelli tyre testing for the Enstone-based team as he visited the team's hospitality building in Monza. Although it was mainly a social call to see former colleagues, Kvyat did have a meeting with Alpine's boss Otmar Szafnauer. However, on multiple occasions, Alpine has indicated that Kvyat is not under consideration for the seat that is still vacant. As for the Russian, he's open that he can overcome any issues and difficulties regarding his nationality and race in a European-based championship. As he added, "I am open, and I think also here in Europe, in the USA, I have green lights from most categories." So there was some period where everything was very tense, of course. Now it's less tense, but it unfortunately threw back a bit the progress of negotiations. So now again, I'm open to start negotiations and see what can come out of it for 2023. So luckily there are some options. And yeah, I'm open. There are no obstacles in that respect. If you ask me, my number, you'll know how to find me. I'm wearing this business suit now. I can swap it for a racing suit and I'll be ready to go. F1 is the easiest thing for me to do, to jump in an F1 car, and it's much harder to jump in a NASCAR car with 4 laps of free practice and race those guys, said Kvyat. He's still very close with some members of the F1 family, such as Nicolas Todd, who is his manager and is also looking after Charles Leclerc. I rate him very highly, of course. I like working with him. It's not easy for him. It's not like he can click his fingers and make things happen. It's many details, and having him on the side certainly helps. I also have my own contact. This also helps. I established very good personal relationships here with all the people. But like I said, the timing is a crucial thing here. Sometimes many things on paper can point out one thing, but maybe in reality things are a bit different, finished Kvyat. After all, Kvyat isn't a driver that was bad during his tenure in F1, and we'd be more than happy to see him racing yet again in the sport. If he decides to come back, then it's really important as to what timing he'll choose for this. For example, if De Vries is to sign for AlphaTauri and Perez is to leave Red Bull after 2024, then a seat in AlphaTauri may very well be open for the Russian. This is the team where it all started, and given the fact that he already knows how to operate this car, it wouldn't be so hard to imagine Kvyat yet again in F1. What do you think is next for the Russian? Do you think that he should make a comeback in F1 and race under neutral flags, or do you think that he should stay in NASCAR? Let us know in the comments below.